think we can start now, but I would love to. Some people have their cameras on, so please, everybody, mute the camera if you want to, so we can work. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our first European webinar that we organize in with European speakers, guest speakers, as there are our main speaker. Let me introduce to you Mr. Roland Wagner. He is a certified laser therapist and owner of the VSkin Aesthetic Solutions and Laser Clinic in Switzerland. Welcome, Roland, and assisted by Fiona Overbeek, who is also a clinical skin therapist, clinical specialist with working with Roland. You have to share the screen, okay?
Yes, I just seen it. Sorry, guys. I'm just coming back. How is it now? Is it okay? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So I was saying that Roland was is assisted by Fiona Overbeek, who is a clinical skin therapist, clinical specialist, trainer of electric energy-based devices, working for Blue Medical in Breda, the Netherlands, and owner of the Revive Clinic in Apeldoorn, also situated in the Netherlands. Roland?
I'll try. I have a little technical problem here with the slides.
Okay.
I cannot. Oh, look at now it works.
Yes,
Perfect.
so
I think
perfect,
it should work. So
okay.
Everyone can see Fiona and me.
Yeah.
Let's try the next one. Perfect.
So the idea is,
yes,
tonight we're going to explain a little bit about the HELIOS Pico 785 compared with the PicoLO Premium, both Pico lasers from LASEROPTEK, and both are presented as very good and stable machines. And please, Roland, explain to us a little bit more about your experience and about the machines in general.
Thank you, Bart. And from my side, a welcome to everybody who is joining us tonight, or even what time of the day it is at your place. I'm very happy, as Bart said, to present tonight in the next 60 plus minutes the two amazing picosecond devices from LASEROPTEK. So here in this slide, you can see the key benefits. I don't know if you have already experience with the usage of picosecond lasers or maybe even Q-switch laser, then you all know that the high stability is key. And let's go to these four key benefits: the stability. Then we talk about the flat head construction, the concept LASEROPTEK uses at these devices. And of course, the new handpieces, the so-called DIO-FX fractional handpieces. On this slide, you see on the left part, you see the PicoLO Premium. This device is delivered standardly with 6 handpieces. So don't get mixed up if you see so many handpieces. Believe me, you need all of them, and all have its own purposes, and even the combinations are amazing. We will talk the next 60 minutes about the indications you can use to have great results in your clinic with combining these handpieces. And LASEROPTEK is providing a nice treatment menu, so you will have results at the very first try in your clinic. On the right-hand part, you see the HELIOS 785 Pico. It's coming with 6 handpieces as well. Talking about high stability. Now let's talk about the PicoLO Premium. And you all know that if you do, for instance, a tattoo laser removal, So such a treatment can go for a half an hour or even 1 hour, depending on how big the pigmentation or the tattoo is. So if you're working, say for instance, a half an hour or an hour on such a project, then it's so crucial that the energy intensity is very stable all the time. And LaserOptek's PicoLO is able to have a deviation less than 2%. That's amazing, and that makes the difference to other picosecond laser in the market. And you see here on this slide, the pulse duration, even less than 5% of a deviation. These two data are very important to have a very stable picosecond laser. And have a look at the second device, HELIOS 785 Pico. Here as well, you see like amazing results. We have like, 2% of the energy of the deviation, same as the PicoLO, so very few. And you see on the lower part of the graphs, you see the pulse width, even 1%. So this chart show you that it's really, we talk about very stable devices. Bart, would you like to add anything about the stability,
Well, yes, I think that as you mentioned, the stability in both units, actually in both in energy and in pulse duration, is as you mentioned, is very important. And not all the treatments are finished in 2-3 minutes. And when you do a longer treatment like skin rejuvenation or a bigger tattoo, of course, your last shots have to be the same quality as your first shots, because your result of the last part should be similar than the result of the first part you've been treating. So it really is important, and I do think that if this is a very huge argument that we can use with LaserOptek, we were able to compare some of our competitors' units, and it's not always evident to to guarantee that this pulse duration or the power output stays stable after, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 minutes even.
I totally agree, Bart. And it's not only for the tattoo removal. We will later see, even if you do pigmentation with this new amazing indication where we do like faces, neck, and décolleté. So then we have like 30 minutes treatment time or even longer. And the
Indeed.
stability is, it's absolutely crucial for such a device.
It is.
Let's continue, guys. I'd like to talk about the design of the spot, like the DOE, the diffractive optical element. Maybe you all know that the DOE is not solely owned by LaserOptek, so many other major brands use this or similar technology. This is even such important technology and design to have like a stable top flat head construction. And LaserOptek is doing that with his Dia FX handpiece, and then you see in the graph here, in the darker graph on the left and below side, it's with 81 these microbeams. So every of these microbeam has the same energy. So that's amazing. And this guarantees you the steady output of the laser energy.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this goes for both devices, not only the PicoLO Premium as well as the HELIOS. Both use this DOE technology.
Yeah.
We see another slide. It's more about technically. As I said, if you use the DOE, so this is, this doesn't, it doesn't depend on the laser stability. So that's really great. If you have like only an MLA, many other lasers don't have the DOE technology, and there you have like the risk that you don't get the output as you need.
Yeah. If I may say so, Roland, it's true that with the MLA lens, the micro lens, Harry, that it's not guaranteed that each of the dots has the same energy. because it really depends on the power input on the lens, and that's different with the diffraction optical element, where actually even with a weak beam, you will still have an equal energy on each of the dots. So that means that actually in the whole area where you're treating, you will have the same amount of energy going into the skin. If you don't have this, it's a bit difficult to have, an equal treatment. You don't know, do you have to overlap? Should you not overlap? How much will I overlap? We all know that it's very difficult to do that, and sometimes also not. You should not do that. And it's true that with the MLA lens, it's less guaranteed that you have the even power and the even energy on each of the microbeam.
Let's go to the next slide. We see here the comparison between the DOE and MLA again. And
Yeah.
Bart, maybe you can explain here the energy loss rate, because this is a huge range we see here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's one of the points why some of the manufacturers still choose for the MLA, because there is less energy loss. Of course, 25% in the DOE is a lot, but we managed with LASEROPTEK to actually to go less than 8% loss of energy, which means that we have a really good guarantee of energy, and we don't lose the 25 as it says, because these are general numbers, and it doesn't. I mean, it's even better with losing like 4 to 5 to 6% of energy, because just because we have this stability on each point of the beams. And I think that whatever the source is, if there is a weak laser beam coming out of the laser or whatsoever, it doesn't matter with the DOE.
I totally agree, Bart. So I prefer have a stable flathead technology with DOE and have a little bit of energy. Of course, the device needs a lot of energy, but here with the LASEROPTEK devices, we have the energy we need.
Yeah.
In this slide, guys, you see the differentiation between the earlier technology. You all know the Q-switch technology. And of course, since about 10 years, we have this picosecond technology. And, some of my colleagues, they ask me, hey, Roland, is it really necessary to buy a picosecond laser, or can I go with a Q-switch? And really, honestly talking, I really have to tell you, if you think about installation of a new device, you most probably will go with a picosecond laser, because the huge difference is between this thermal effect, this photothermal effect, as you can see in the right picture with the Q switch. So we have like coagulation similar to an ablative laser. And on the left picture, you see that this photomechanical effect, which has less side effects, so you have more focus on the main indication than with less side effects.
So we could say, Roland, that actually we have less risk of damage with the Pico than with the Nano.
Absolutely, yes. So it's really a game changer to go with picosecond laser technology, especially with such devices and features with LaserOptek's PicoLO and HELIOS. So of course, talking about prices, of course, today you get the Q switch lasers for a much lower price than a picosecond laser, because the picosecond laser is really complicated laser design. And but I think it's worth it. We see it, we will talk later in this webinar about the results we get. And it's really, with everyone I'm talking at every Congress, so that everyone is convinced that if you do pigmentation, if you do like tattoo removal or permanent makeup removal, you're way better off with a picosecond laser technology.
Great.
Well, here, Bart, maybe you can say something. I think this is a video.
Yeah. Yeah, let me explain. So on the left, we see the PicoLO, and you can see that with the power we have, we go much deeper into the skin than, for instance, with the nanosecond, where we don't see the same reaction. Actually, what we can do through the DOE system and the constant power, we go very, very deep, and we can control this depth because it's we will see it later with the hand pieces. We can go deeper or less deep depending on the focus distance that we choose. But anyway, this explains very well how deep we can work with the Piccolo Premium compared to, for instance, with Q-switch and the YAG.
Great. Let me try. Okay, here we have the next slide. Bart, you just mentioned it. Let's talk about these amazing Dia FX handpieces from LASEROPTEK.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are fractional handpieces with picosecond laser technology. And guys, as you can see in the left-hand graph, so we are able to treat the skin layers in 3 different depths with one single handpiece. And early days, we had to change the spacer. Here, you do not have to change anything. So it's really quick. You just twist, as we see here in the graph, you just twist on it and treat. And that's really an advantage for so many indications we can talk about. And this is unique with LASEROPTEK.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we are the only one who can offer this three-level treatment. I think there is no other picosecond laser that can do this in my knowledge.
Absolutely. And maybe Fiona can tell us something here because, we all know these radio frequency micro needling devices, which are amazing, for skin rejuvenation as a collagen booster, elastin booster. But here we have an option which is absolutely pain-free, and we have nearly the same effect, but with no downtime. Is that right, Fiona?
Yes, Roland, that's correct. And also, because we don't have the downtime, I can use it all year round. I can use it safely on specifically those scar tissues that are more hypertrophic or keloid reactive, and also on the more pigmented skin, I can use it safely. So, no risk of PIH there.
I'm
And we
really
can use
excited,
the three
Fiona.
levels together, no? Sorry,
Yeah,
we can use the three
sorry
levels.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, we can use the 3 levels together in the same treatment. So we can target specific layers of the skin. So as you can see on the left graph, we can target the deeper dermal layer. We can target the more superficial dermal layer, and we can also target the epidermis. So depending on the indication you want to treat, you can be really specific and without the downtime.
Guys, you make me really excited to learn more about it. Hopefully, is everyone here in the webinar. So we will talk about it later in details. Here in this graph, you see how it works. That was like, I think that was like a kind of, what was it, Bart? Was it a crystal or something? We used this depth control?
Yeah, actually, this is a plexiglass we use, and we use this to show the levels we can go. And you will see that on level 1, it's the deepest. Level 2 is middle deep, and then level 3 is very superficial. Talking about 1064, and then with the DIFX on the 532, you even see that even with the 532 wavelength, we can do actually we can go very deep. And it doesn't depend on the power. Actually, it's just changing the focus will go and lead us to this depth. If we use more or less power, of course we will have a different reaction, more cavitation and stuff like that.
I think this is so amazing, with this Dia FX532, that this is going so deep and we protect the epidermis. This offers so many indications. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. I think using this technology allows us to do treatments, go deeper into the skin, work on deeper pigmentation without actually damaging the skin. That's true.
So that every skin expert, like we all are, we know the advantages, to have such a handpiece, and we can really treat the dermal layers without any side effects, unwanted side effects. Amazing.
Without side effects and without disposables. So really do that collagen banking without any disposable units like needle cartridges.
We're so excited, Fiona, to learn more about this. But let's go first to this LIOB. That's not specific from LASEROPTEK, but it's a technology, this laser-induced optical breakdown. I guess you all heard about this design, this possibility. And you see on this histological graphs here that we are able to penetrate the different levels, and we can do this kind of a cavitation, which is absolutely a collagen elastin booster. Bart, would you like to mention something? I know you're very good in all these technical details. Let's give us some details, please.
Well, I can say that you see, of course, the four pictures, and the first one explaining the level 1 going actually rather deep, up to 500 micrometers, while the level 2 is going medium deep, as we said, is making the cavitations at medium depth at approximately 250, 260 micrometers. And the level 3, as we said, that is working on a very superficial way, going only like 35 to 50 micrometers. And the fourth picture explains the same actually result that we have, but with the 532 nanometer fractional handpiece.
That's amazing, yeah? So, I mean, the depth here with this 532, this is so deep, like even deeper as the 1064.
It could go deeper than that, and I think for pigmentation, it's a very a good tool to work with.
Let's continue, guys. Let's talk a little bit. Now you have already learned about these features from the PicoLO Premium. And let's switch quickly now to the new one, the HELIOS 785 Pico. Yeah, why 785? Maybe you all know this. The very first picosecond laser in the market was a 755 Alex-based picosecond laser. And, LaserOptek was so smart and developed this amazing wavelength, which has so many benefits and advantages by treating the skin. And I'm not talking only about the tattoo removal, but you can imagine this wavelength is amazing to get a depigmentation with light green, light blue, or turquoise colors. And it's always a situation if you have done 6 to 8 tattoo removal treatments and you have these leftovers, and then you're kind of a little bit stuck and don't know what to do with your major wavelengths like the 532 and 1064. And believe me, you are so better off if you have this 785 in your clinic. And yes, you can see here in the graph on the right side, you see the wavelength and you see the absorption. You all know these charts or similar charts. And I think it's pretty nice to see in the melanin that we have the full range between 532 and 1064 with this additional 785 wavelength. Bart, maybe please tell us about this amazing LaserOptek technology, how they get to this 785 wavelength, because this, guys, is a real wavelength. Forget about these die handpieces we all know from the Q-switch or from other picosecond laser. What you see here is a real wavelength with real power, and that makes the difference. Right, Bart?
Yes, right. That it is. I mean, we start from the classical Nd:YAG laser rod, and of course we go frequency doubling to the KTP, and then actually the technology that we use is a T-Sapphire. I won't go too deep into the technology itself, but actually it's like a T-Sapphire lens that we play with the distance in between lenses and mirrors, and we play with the thickness of this lens, and in this way we can actually go from nanosecond to picosecond, then we can choose the wavelength actually that we want. The same technology is also used with the pulse laser at 308 and 311 nanometers. And in this case, they chose this technology for the 785. And as you say, Roland, this wavelength is coming from actually from the heart of the laser, from the original laser source. That means that we don't have any disposables. We don't have to, change handpieces, buy new handpieces, which are often very expensive, low powered, and very difficult to handle. I think in this case, where we have a laser based wavelength, we have a lot more power, and we have, of course, more choice in the handpieces. We can use multiple handpieces, and this is so much better to work with.
And guys, this is exactly why we choose LaserOptek, because LaserOptek is not a good marketing company, being honest, but what they can is design development of really state-of-the-art technology. And that's this 785 wavelength. That's exactly such an invention. And believe me or not, but everyone in the market, all these major laser companies, they were very keen to buy this technology from LaserOptek, but they didn't sell it. So that's right, Bart, yeah?
It is, yeah. Sure.
And we have to mention here, we can always say, oh, go for LaserOptek, but here we have really to mention this 785 wavelength can produce 200 millijoule of energy density. And that's way, way over the market. So there's nobody in the market who can provide such energy density. Is that right, Bart?
That's right. You're completely right. Most go up to 100 approximately, and they're not even sure if they actually achieve this 100 and how long they can guarantee that this power is being delivered.
And honestly speaking, guys, I'm doing the tattoo removal since more than 10 years, and you all know. So you need the power, so to get these pigmentations away of the skin. And I'm not only talking about tattoo removal or permanent makeup removal, but you need this power. Maybe you all know from the earlier Q-switch devices, they all came with 6 wavelengths and stuff, but this was no power. And as you said, Bart, it was like a consumable. So everyone was totally disappointed after a couple months. No results, no energy, and then it's gone. You have to buy a new one.
Yeah, and it was expensive.
And it really had a good price tag on it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, let's move forward. Talking still about the HELIOS 7.5 Pico, as you all know, this is a combined device with nanotechnology and Pico technology. So here you have the 4 handpieces, which are included in the HELIOS 785 Pico. And as you can see from left to right, we have this zoom handpiece to treat all the tattoo removals. And with the different modes, you all know it's like the real double pulse or the free running mode. So everything is available. And then we have the collimator, which has like 5 to 10 millimeter spot size for many indications. And then the 1064 fractional handpitch, which I really like for a nano treatment, 5x5 for so many indications. And on the right side, this is optional, guys. This is not included. But maybe would you like to say something about this? This is an amazing handpiece, right?
It is. And as you said, it's an optional handpiece because already we have a lot of handpieces available. But it's actually a handpiece that we all should have because the fractional 532 nanometer, there's so much you can do. Even in this case with the 785 Pico, it is in a nanosecond 532. But you can treat so many things like pigmentations, like some, so let's say, diffuse redness and whatsoever. Because again, with the high power, stable power, you can do like a whole face treatment with the 532 or even all the others and not losing any power, not losing any quality of the treatment by itself.
With this
Also,
handpiece, sorry,
yeah,
Bart.
can I just 1 second to mention
Take your
about
time.
the
It's very
Zoom handpiece?
interesting.
The Zoom handpiece, the Zoom collimator handpiece, at least, is a handpiece that we can switch actually in spot size. That means that each of them spot sizes we can use in a collimated mode. That means that the distance in between the skin and the handpiece doesn't matter. We can use them all, and it's most of the collimated handpieces, they're just fixed at 8 mm or 10 mm or 6 mm or whatsoever, but we can choose. We can switch it, and we can choose and go in different focus points.
And that means like depending on the area where you treat, say in the face, you would be very lucky to have this handpiece with a smaller spot size. If you treat around the eye area, where we all know you have to protect the eye, but all the clients, they love to have a good eye treatment, this area. Is that right? Or Fiona, maybe if you would like to jump in?
Yes, of course, Roland. So the option to with this device and this particular handpiece, is really nice to go to a really small spot size, as you mentioned, around the eyes, for example, or around the mouth, or in between the eyebrows without touching the eyebrows, of course, with all the ladies with permanent makeup nowadays. But also when you want to treat larger areas, for example, like the body, or we want to be quick, right? We don't want to spend more time than needed on a treatment. So then we can choose the 10 mm spot size. So we are really quick and efficient on that one too.
Amazing. Let's continue, guys. So HELIOS 784 Pico has not only these amazing nano handpieces, it's coming standardized with these 3 picosecond handpieces. And as you can see here, we have the zoom again, we have a collimator and a fractional 785, which is so great in the clinic to have them for all the indications.
Maybe I can add with this handpieces that when we talk about 785 Pico, all these handpieces have square points, where normally we have a round dot. These all have squares. And maybe also important to say is that we are going to change the fractional handpiece, gold handpiece, to the silver one, which will still have or even have more power. So we will be able to offer more power in the future with the new handpiece.
Well, this sounds great to me. And guys, here you see, as we talked earlier about these 3 depth levels, easy twist and treat. So that's really unique coming from LASEROPTEK here at the HELIOS 785 Pico. And we have so many indications and great results, less side effects just by this technology. Here another graph. Here you see again the levels. So 1 is the deepest, the second is in the middle, and then you have the top layer with level 3. It's just like, I think, Bart, how did we produce this graph? Is it like, again, a plexi or?
No, this is not done by a plexi. It's actually a photograph that we have been taking, because in the plexi it's a little less visible than with the 1064, but it shows that it gives the same the same quality of leveling, and we can choose, we can control, and we can work in all 3 of those levels, which allows us to to do better treatments. I think Fiona, if for pigmentation, this is really nice if we can use the combination of this wavelength with this focus in 3 levels. Now.
Yes, we can target dermal pigmentation if that's the case, but we can also focus with the level 2 on restructuring of the basal layer of the epidermis. And we can also do like a mild, almost no downtime skin resurfacing with the level 3. So that's really nice.
Right. Thanks.
Here we have like, like you see all the technical specs of these two devices. You know, I always had the question, why do they produce two devices? Why not putting everything in one? But that's still not possible. There are many reasons. But here you can see what's all available. You see this on the brochures as well. You see all the handpieces we talked about. You see the energies, and you see the picosecond, the pulse duration we have for on the left side with the PicoLO Premium, and on the right side with the HELIOS 785 Pico, which is a nano and picon second device, as we talked about. But let me mention something which I think is important too. LaserOptek is really great in designing these small devices. So the devices are compared with the other picosecond laser devices in the market, very small devices. And you all know that's an advantage. Our clinics, we don't have the big rooms, so we have to move around these devices, mainly often maybe into another room, or we have to store it somewhere because we have other devices as we have. We have about 10 devices in one room. So that's very important. And it's difficult to, to have this amazing complex technology into such a small device, right, Bart?
It is. It is. They try to do their best, and not to make like a huge, big machines that are not easy to move or not easy to handle. They try to take care of everything, not only the technology, but also the eye wants something too. That's true.
Let's sum a little bit. We have already showed some slides, and what we did so far, we introduced these two amazing picosecond laser devices, which are actually available all over the world. So LaserOptek, since a couple of years, they are really like rolling out and providing these devices almost in every part of the world. And all, of course, are medical grade MDD, MDR devices. And you see here again, the handpieces which are included. You see here the PicoLO Premium. So it's not only about tattoo and pigment. We talk about scars, guys. We talk about scar treatments, acne scar treatments, and very successful. We have to listen to it, especially Fiona can tell us about her experience. So you don't need an ablative laser anymore. So these high-tech picosecond lasers are able to provide amazing results for all kinds of scars. Of course, rejuvenation, pico sculpting, and all this stuff with all these handpieces. On the other hand, the HELIOS 785 Pico, of course, as I said, you can do like special light green, light blue, turquoise colored tattoos, and not even this. You know, we tried in our clinic with if we have some kind of restaining tattoo color, we just try it out. And sometimes even with yellow, we have amazing quick depigmentations with this HELIOS 785 Pico. And of course, all the skin toning, especially for darker skin types, of course, rejuvenation, and of course, scars and stretching marks treatment. Just to mention, we talked about this LIOB formation. This is amazing for collagen and elastin production of reconstruction of the fibroblast. So you don't need to have so many injections anymore. I know there are many, maybe there are some doctors listening in this webinar. Don't get me wrong, guys, but I see the advantages of injections, but this kind of picosecond laser technology, like the PicoLO or the HELIOS, they can provide almost painless collagen and elastin production, very naturally and pain-free, without any disposables, as Fiona already mentioned it. It's amazing.
Yes, it's really interesting because we all know the PLLA injections nowadays that are really popular. That's their main goal is collagen production, but with this technique we do the same without needles, so in a natural way. For people who don't like injections, this is an amazing option as well.
Fiona, you bring it on a point. I mean, nobody likes injections. in general, I would say. So we try to avoid it, And yes, every injection can force a side effect. And yeah, here it's all natural. And you can, maybe we can talk about this at the coming slide, Fiona. But I think, this is so easy. You can repeat it every couple of weeks and give this natural glow, this natural look.
Yes, but what I like to point out about this is really important for all of you to know. It's you can only achieve a correct LIOB effect in the tissue with a stable laser. Again, with the stability, we come back, and with enough power, because we lose power, an amount of power, when the laser enters the skin, always. So you need high power on your beam, but you also need to keep that high power constant due to treatments. But if you have like some Pico laser that's not performing at this level, you won't get the LIOB effect and you won't get the collagen stimulation we're talking about right now. So that's really important to remember.
Thank you for mentioning this, Fiona. And I remind you all of this at the very beginning at the slides, the key benefits. That's the laser stability and this state-of-the-art DOE flat head technology. These are like really, these are features from LASEROPTEK, which really make the difference. Again, in this slide, you can see that if we treat the skin with these PicoLO or HELIOS devices, we get just a better look. We can, not even if you're not sure what to treat, you just do like a nice laser toning with 3 depth layer, and the patient will have an amazing skin. Maybe you don't see it like when you do like an injection, but you can do like a maintenance with it, and yeah, you have like a better complexion.
So actually, you improve the skin quality. You don't only treat rejuvenation, but you treat actually the whole package, like pigmentation, rejuvenation, regeneration, and everything together, no?
Thank you, Bart. Thank you. I really have to state here quickly. It's not, these two devices, PicoLO and HELIOS, these are not only tattoo removal devices. So, talking about money, I see a huge business in skin rejuvenation and scar treatment. So, if you do not have an ablative laser yet in your clinic, spare the money. So, focus on a great picosecond laser technology like LASEROPTEK is offering. And then you can treat, and trust me, every of our client or patients have some scars which they bother them, And I mean, people love to spend money for a good face, for a good, nice glow, and for a skin rejuvenation treatment without pain and without injections.
Yeah, sure.
Let's continue to some B&A and pictures. And well, we talk about acne scars, and this is really something we are so excited to hear from Fiona. Maybe you can tell us, Fiona, about the treatment protocols, your personal experience. I know you treat a lot of scars.
Yes, so in this case, we see in the left picture, we see ice pick scars and we see sunblock scars, rolling scars a little bit. So the challenge with acne scarring is always that there is connective tissue at the bottom of the scar that's pulling the scar down. So preferably, and the more of the gold standard is to go in with subcision and to combine it even with some ablative laser. But as we mentioned before, we really like to go in with these new techniques and be less aggressive and have less downtime. So what we did here is with the DiaFix, so the fractional handpiece, we treated all the 3 depth levels. So the connective tissue, we can, with the skin, we can loosen it up. So we can make those LIOB effects in the scar tissue. So we loosen it up, we get more room for the scar to elevate. And as you see in the right picture, the whole skin surface is almost flat. So no contraction of the scars, a flat surface, only a little bit of scar tissue left, but a complete remodeling of the skin in this large area on the cheek. And that's achieved with all the 3 depth levels, so deep dermal, upper dermal, and epidermal layers.
So if I understand well, Fiona, then we repair the skin from the inside out.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we repair it completely. So we replace it. So we break down a little bit of the skin step by step with each treatment. So this is after 4 sessions. It takes time for the skin to rebuild itself. But we do it in a really precise and just gentle manner in this way, but still with great results, as if we see with ablative lasers. So that's what I really like about this.
I really like this result. I think you all agree. It's if you look closer to the A picture on the right, it's amazing. I mean, we talk about 4 sessions, almost pain-free, no downtime, and you know, we usually use these ablative lasers, and I can tell you, it's not easier. And if I have such a result of 4 treatments, then I have to do it really nicely, even with an ablative laser. And trust me, all my patients, they have at least 5 or 10 days of side effects in their face they have to cover and to heal. Thank you very much, Fiona. That's amazing.
So here we see also a little bit of acne scarring, but on a really, let's say, fragile skin, of course. So it's a different skin texture than the previous patient. So here we use the zoom handpiece on the pigmentation spots, and we use the DiaFX 1064 nanometers in combination with the zoom handpiece, and you see a really even skin tone after the treatments.
Fiona, did you do this in the same session?
Yes, you can do this in the same session. I always prefer, so it's in a different order here in the slide I see, but I always prefer to start with the DiaFX handpiece and then to end like a finishing touch with the zoom, more spot treatment. So here we see solar lentigo near the eye, and it's a challenging area to treat safely, of course, and also it's a really delicate skin around the eyes. So here we went in with the zoom handpiece, but then the 532 nanometers. So that's really focusing, really targeting the pigmentation. And as you see, this is only after 1 treatment with 1 pass of the laser. So tell me, have you experienced with an IPL or with a peeling that gives the same quick results as this? I don't think so.
I agree.
So here again, here we use also the same handpiece, the Zoom 532 on the cheek area, and we see also with 1 treatment that the lesions are completely gone. Another beautiful result of a solar lentigo on the temple area. And we see that it's also almost gone, still healing, but this is after 1 treatment. In my experience, these type of pigmentation spots are really stubborn to get rid of. And in the past, I only had a IPL to treat it correctly, but it was really difficult. Tried some chemical peels or microneedling, and here with just 1 treatment session with Zoom handpiece 532, it's almost completely gone. Next step would be in the right picture, as you see, a little bit of ghosting of the lesion would be a fractional handpiece to finish it up.
I get a remark that the question is, what can we or could we have done this not with the 785, but actually both lasers can do this kind of treatment. It depends on which laser you have in your clinic, or maybe it depends on the basic skin type. I don't know.
Yes, it could be done with the 785, but here we did it with the PicoLO Premium. So the 785 is on the Helios.
It's possible. Right?
Yes, it is possible. So again, here we see that fine lines around the eye area. So the periorbital area, also the skin again is really delicate. This is an Asian skin type. After 4 sessions, we see some rejuvenation around that eye area and less puffiness, and the line is less deep. Here is a combination in the first and second treatment of the DiaFix handpiece, but the small handpiece, as we talked about, that's really convenient for the eye area. So that's a 5 millimeter diameter spot size. And then the third and fourth treatment, again, but then with increased intensity and only used level 1 and level 2. So the first, we also used the most superficial level as well to do a little bit of resurfacing. Second, the third and fourth treatment, we didn't.
Have you an idea on the number of passes that we do on this kind of treatment?
The number of passes, usually I do 3 to 4 passes in the first treatment, and then I increase it to a maximum of 5 passes. Obviously, it depends also on the pulse repetition rate, so the hertz that you put it on, and the tempo of movement of the handpiece. So you need to be really precise with that, but that's where the training comes in hand.
Yeah, sure, thanks.
So,
yeah, just switch to the next one. Sorry, maybe I was a little bit too
I
fast.
missed it. Also, I really like these results it's achieved also with the PicoLO Premium. And here we see a beautiful decrease of the crow's feet near the eye, achieved with also 4 treatments. So I think it's really great. We usually use like Botox for that area, again with injections, and we can use some retinoid eye creams, but we have the irritation and not as dramatic results as this. So I really think it's an elegant treatment, as you see here.
So, Fiona, thank you very much for all these very, very nice results. And I didn't expect so many good results, with a picosecond laser. And as we mentioned already, it's like skin rejuvenation, wrinkle reduction. We have scar treatment, and there's so much stuff to do with a tattoo removal device. Yeah, don't get me wrong. So here you see one client of me. You see here a little tattoo on the finger. It's not a lot of color, but trust me, it's not so easy as it looks. We did here like 6 treatments, usually every 60 days. So we need 2 months between 2 treatments. And I see we use the PicoLO, and I think we use the HELIOS as well. So because on the finger, you have to keep in mind, there's very few tissue, so the laser reflects. And sometimes these little parts are not so easy to totally remove. And here, after 6, we have a nice treatment. So I didn't see the client anymore. Maybe it's even better today. Here is an ongoing case of mine. And this is a young lady. She had like the full sleeve arm. You see here the upper arm and shoulder. Everything was full with ink, with mixed colors. Not so easy to treat. And even as well here, we use both devices. The second picture is not finished yet, but you see after 6 treatments, we have like amazing depigmentation already. And what I did here, especially, I decided at the beginning, I just go for the darker colors. You see, there's a lot of red and green and light blue, but I just focused on the black ink at the 2 first treatments, and I did 1 treatment only the colored ones to avoid any overlapping. And maybe one secret, maybe you all know who perform such tattoo removal treatments. What we did of the depigmentation with the Zoom handpiece, we use the DioFX handpiece for the, how you say, like the healing process. And this is not only to get the remaining heat out of the skin. We do it especially to enhance the the macrophages, to deliver, to transport the pigments out of the area. And earlier days, we used always ablative laser like a CO2 laser for this aftermath. And today, you can do it easily with your LASEROPTEK device. Is that right, Fiona?
Yes, that's right, Roland. You have all the tools just in one device. As you mentioned, like the microphage stimulation is a really interesting component that's become more of interest in our field in the last maybe 5 to 10 years. But now we moved over to more not the ablative fractionated technique to combine with the tattoo removal, but the actual Pico fractionated technique. That's non-invasive to the skin, but it's a big stimulation to the macrophage reaction. And what do we get? If you see this ongoing process, for example, of your beautiful case, it's really difficult for the body to clear up all the pigment. We need a lot of power, and all those macrophages are like little Pac-Man cells that eat up, that encapsulate the fragmented ink particles, and to move it out of the way. And sometimes that process goes really slow, especially on the extremities of the body. It's a difficult process and it takes longer time. So we can use this instead of waiting for months and months and months. We can also add in maybe an extra treatment with the fractionated technique here to speed up the process.
Well, amazing. So Fiona, to get it right, so you could recommend to have maybe to ask in to call in the client maybe 2-3 weeks after the Zoom treatment for this DioFX treatment again. Is that right?
Yes, you can do it immediately after the Zoom, but then just a few passes with lower settings. But to keep the stimulation of the macrophage process going, you can, after a couple of weeks, when the skin is healed, obviously, that's important, you can give more stimulation. Especially with this case, it's you've already done 6 treatments. And as we all know, you have to wait a long time in between those sessions further along in the treatment course. So it's really interesting to get the patient back into the clinic and to stimulate the process even more. And as we talked about, you get skin rejuvenation, and a tattoo is just a colored scar as I approach it in my mind. So we can get remodeling of the skin at the same time.
Maybe you don't see it here in this case, but the skin is still amazing. So we have no scar tissue. We have still a very smooth skin, because it looks a little bit funny here in the off the picture. But I can tell you it's really the skin is still after these 6 treatments still very, very nice. Another sample. Yeah. Well, done by the Zoom handpiece. Is not a patient of mine, but as you can see here, only I think these were, I guess it's one treatment. I'm not sure here, but we still.
Only one treatment. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Another one here, smaller one. Always use the thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I said it was great. Great results.
Thank you, Fiona. Here you see another patient of mine. What we do here is like you see here is like on the wrists, so on the hand, and you know. So if you do like a tattoo removal in this area, usually this part gets swollen up like hell. So you cannot avoid it. Sometimes it's only 2 days, but I have clients they have like 1 week or 10 days like a swollen area. Yeah. I think it's more like the lymphatic reaction. But you can see here after only 2 sessions, this snake is already disappearing, whereas the numbers still have usually more ink and needs more treatments. Again, only after 1 treatment, I was a little bit surprised. And I already had a plan for the 2nd treatment, but unfortunately, the client didn't show up again. I think she was happy with the result. Maybe all these remainings were gone in the meantime. Yeah, this is another client of mine. Yeah, you see here, he had actually a cover up on his front head. And I think the challenge here was, because even here we do not have a lot of tissue. It's the bone here, the scalp. And but we were able, especially with the HELIOS 785 Pico, to provide energy in very low dosages. And we have, as you can see, after 3 sessions, an amazing depigmentation. So the client is very happy. And in the meantime, we had like more treatments done. And even these remainings you see here in the second picture, almost gone, everything. So we are very, very happy about this outcome. For another client, it's not blue. It's tricky. We had a little bit pink and yellow and light blue in this little tattoo. She had it on her shoulder. And after 6 sessions, wow, as you can see, almost everything gone. It just needs maybe 3 months. Or as Fiona mentioned it, maybe some Dia FX sessions between, and then this will be gone forever. Fiona, would you like to jump in? We have this melasma case here with this lady.
Yes, I'm glad to jump in. Thank you, Roland. Yes, this lady, as we see and in the left picture, she has some melasma at the cheekbones and in some other areas in the face. She also had some hyperpigmentation. And even after 1 session, 3 weeks later, we see a nice clearing up of the melasma and a nice stabilizing reaction. So melasma, as you all know, is really difficult to treat. We have a lot of factors going on in the skin and in the body that stimulate this indication. But with the PicoLO Premium and also with the HELIOS 785 Pico, we can really safely treat the melasma, but also effective. Of course, we cannot permanently get rid of the melasma. If you have it, you have it. But we can stabilize the skin and remodel the skin so it doesn't appear as quick as it used to before.
So would you suggest then when it's finished, when the treatments are finished, that to continue treating or to maintain actually the treatments?
In my clinic, I prefer to keep the patients on an interval controlled appointment at my clinic, and the base of the how do you say it? The base of the stabilization of the melasma is always with the products I prefer. So to control and to suppress the melanogenesis. But it's always beneficial to keep them coming back into the clinic for a fractional treatment with the DiaFX. I prefer that technique to keep the skin barrier intact and not declining with aging, for example.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is a great example, and I think that's amazing result with only 1 session.
I
think we got some more pictures of this lady, no?
Here we go.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes. Here we can see it better because with the front picture, it was difficult to see, but here you can see it beautifully. It's the melasma, but also the solar lentigo is cleared up. So I think it's a really amazing result in 1 session. And I mention again, 3 weeks after the treatment. So it's really quick. Here's the other side. There's some more pigmentation in the skin here. Still some pigmentation left, but it's 1 treatment, right? What can we expect? Obviously a lot with this device, but that's what really amazed me. So here we see a pigmented lesion on a temple. She had some melasma reaction as well in the face, so it was really challenging if it would come back or not. But this is actually the result after one treatment with the PicoLO Premium. As you can see, she is a bit tan, so I was a little bit afraid that it would come back again. She was outside a lot. I prefer not for my patients with these indications, but still it stayed stable, so that's really nice.
And this was treated with the PicoLO Premium?
Yes, this was treated with the PicoLO Premium.
Okay.
And here we see some pigmentation as well, some melasma reaction on the cheekbone with a darker Fitzpatrick skin type. So obviously a more unstable pigment process. So the melanogenesis is much stronger in these patients, and they tend to produce darker melanosomes. So if you go a little bit off with your treatment approach, it could go really wrong. But here you see already an amazing result after 3 treatments. Obviously, this needs to be supported with the correct skincare protocol to support the melanogenesis and to suppress it correctly all through the year. But overall, I think a really great result.
And this is an example of the 785 Pico treatment. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here we see in the right picture, you can see the immediate reaction after the treatment with the 785. And as you can see, it's a really gentle skin reaction. So there's no excessive swelling. You can see a little bit of the popcorn effect on the skin, but it heals really nicely. So you don't get the disruption of the melanocytes.
Right.
So Bart, I think
Yeah, this
is
one
your
I'm going
case.
to explain. Yeah, this was actually a special case where a client came in the clinic, and she went to another clinic where they tried to remove a tattoo, but she told me it was not a laser. It was more like the abrasion system. With as a result that she had a lot of keloid and scar tissue. Um, we started actually doing 1 or 2 treatments with the CO2 fractional at the time, just because we didn't have the PicoLO Premium in the beginning, and we didn't even have the 785 in the beginning. But then after 2 treatments, I think we first received the 785, and then we continued working with the 785. And afterwards, we combined actually both units, PicoLO Premium and 785. And what's remarkable is that we always worked on the fractional, always with the idea to get rid of the scar tissue, to get rid of the keloid. But as you can see, even not focusing on the ink that was still in this region, you see that the ink is disappearing. And that's what we mentioned before. If you do tattoo removal, if you want to treat tattoos, you can do that with both with a zoom and the fractional handpiece. And I think that the fractional handpiece also helps removing the ink, and in the same time is regenerating the skin, is giving a much better skin texture at this point. This patient, I think in general, we did about, I would say maybe 15 to 20 treatments, but where in the beginning, the tissue was very hard and was very sensitive. The client would not allow us to touch it. And now, this skin is flexible. It's even getting its normal color back bit by bit. The ink is going away. So this, in my opinion, is a very good result.
Remarkable, Bart.
Really remarkable results.
Oh, and this is also one I want to explain, because actually what we did here, as we got the HELIOS 785 Pico in the beginning, of course, we wanted to see what it could do and how it works. And, we were curious, and we wanted to test a little bit. So we had one a lady working in the clinic, and she allowed us to treat the tattoo half with the Zoom handpiece 1064 and nanosecond mode, and the other half we treated with the 785 in picosecond mode. And this is actually the result, what we get. And what's really amazing is that in a first time, I would not even think of using the 785 for a black color tattoo. But as Roland explained at the beginning, you know, you never know what's underneath. You never know what you will get. So it really does work on black tattoos. And what it's even more interesting is that you will see the difference in the skin reaction after using the 785 or the 1064. And if you can zoom out a little bit, Roland, you will see that the part or the side where we have been treating with the 1064, we get the, you know, the, I would almost say the classical point bleedings and the classical reaction of this of the skin, where on the 785 side we have this smooth eagle reaction. At the end, honestly, I think that result-wise, you see here after 3 sessions, so finally we did a 4-1. We can discuss if you know, if the one is better than the other, but anyway, for the patient and for the skin, it's so much smoother. It's so much better to treat with the 785 picosecond laser.
Here we go then. Well, here we have, we would like to show you some publication, just that you let you know that LASEROPTEK is publishing their results. So they're not only one. So we have publications, and yes, we are finally getting to the last slides. And let me quickly sum up. So we have presented you 2 devices, the PicoLO Premium and the HELIOS 785 Pico. Both lasers are amazing. The PicoLO, of course, it's like a pigmentation removal device. You can do acne scar treatment, you can do wrinkle treatment, and of course, tattoo removal and permanent makeup removal. Whereas the HELIOS 785 Pico is again, it's a brightening, toning, the pigmented lesions you can treat. You have like amazing skin rejuvenation indications and programs available. And of course, we can do tattoo removal for special light green, light blue, turquoise, or as I mentioned, yellow, and many others as well.
I have an interesting question that is asked by the chat, and maybe Fiona, you can answer this one. Actually, the question is that is it not dangerous with fractional pico lasers to stimulate the keloid and worsen it instead of improving it?
No, in my experience, it's not dangerous, but obviously you need to have a stabilized keloid. So if you have a lesion that's still really reactive, we don't touch it with the laser. And I always recommend using medication to injections, for example, to flatten it out.
Great, thank you. Another question that was asked is, let's say for cheek rejuvenation treatment with PicoLO Premium, how many shots approximately do we get with each level? Is that a standard answer, or does it depend on the situation, or what do you think, Fiona?
That's such a nice question. We did some testing with it because LASEROPTEK provides amazing protocols. I really want to emphasize that. If you buy the device, you have really clear protocols for each indication, also for skin rejuvenation, for the pico lifting as well. But we see our challenge was and to test the differences between the settings that are from LASEROPTEK more focused on the Asian skin types, and to see the effect on Western European skins. For example, we have more of a thicker skin, and sometimes more skin laxity that we need to work on. So we tried more intense settings, and if we have the cheek, that's the example here for the question, I prefer in total 4,000 to 5,000 shots for one cheek, and you divide it between those levels. But to say I use level 1 and level 2 for the lifting. Usually I don't need restructuring of the surface layer of the skin. So I prefer to use level 1 and level 2. So you use 2,000 or 2,500 shots on each cheek. And I also always used 10 hertz, so really quick.
Okay, thank you. Then maybe one last question. We have been talking about both units, and maybe some people now start doubting, should I buy a PicoLO Premium or should I buy the Helios 785 Pico? Is there a real answer, or do we really have to choose? Are there some, in some cases, maybe we are better with the PicoLO Premium. In other cases, we're better with the Helios 785 Pico. What's your opinion on that one, Roland?
Well, I can tell you about my experience. So I'm so fortunate. I'm lucky. I have both devices in my clinic, and I don't want to miss one of them because they both fit so brilliantly together. As I said, even for tattoo removal or permanent makeup removal, I can choose, and I've never stuck, so I can, if I don't get an endpoint with one device, I just go with the 785, for instance, or go back. So that's really brilliant. I know it needs some budget, but it gives you such a good feeling, if you just can help every patient in your clinic.
Well, and I think that maybe, I don't know about the competition, but maybe if you make a good deal with your distributor, both units will maybe not cost more than one unit from the competition.
Yeah, great. Yes, absolutely. I think we can mention that tonight or now. So LaserOptek has very fair prices. You get like late state-of-the-art technology with amazing stable devices and for very fair prices. Absolutely, I agree.
Fiona, can you add something to that, or?
Yes, I can add something to that. Obviously, some people have to make a choice. Not everybody can buy both systems at the same time, even though LaserOptek has really fair prices. I agree. In my opinion, I would like to add to the explanation of Roland that if you go for more of the specific pigmentation targeting, if that's in tattoo removal, permanent makeup removal, or the wide variety of color tattoos, I would lean more to buying the Helios 785 Pico. And if you focus more on, okay, you can remove tattoos perfectly with the PicoLO Premium, but you want to focus really well on skin rejuvenation and scar treatment, my personal choice, then I would lean more to buying the PicoLO Premium.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So do we have any more questions, Bart, or?
I think we responded to all the questions there were. I hope so, at least. If anybody has other questions, please ask them now. And if not, I think we can just end with this one. I think we have, for those people who are interested in more information or to ask specific questions about it, we have a QR code, I think in the next slide, Roland, that can help us or help you at least to get all the information that you want to have about all of our LaserOptek lasers, because we have been talking about Pico 785 or HELIOS 785 Pico and the PicoLO Premium this evening, but we also have the Helios 3 as a Q-switch and YAG. We have the Lotus 3 as an erbium YAG. We have the Pallas Premium as a UVB laser. So we do have more than this. So please, for those people who are interested now and in the future, just scan the QR code and ask directly the questions that you want to ask. And if you want to, stay updated, just follow us on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and on the LinkedIn. We are posting on a regular basis. And so I think if there is no more questions, I have only to thank you, Roland. I have to thank you, Fiona, for this wonderful evening, this nice and clear explanation. I hope that the people enjoyed it and learned something about what they can do with the LaserOptek machines. And I hope they will enjoy the treatments in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.